Can we appreciate how cute he is when he's trying to explain something to us that someone had to explain to him 5 minutes ago?
He's like, all the airplanes will be grounded, but not the ones flying.
He saw that KFC bucket and was like, fuel up, Air Force One, we're going to Congress. Like, sir, it's only 8 blocks away.
You know what, you're right, we'll take the chopper.
The President of the United States is upset because he feels he should have more Twitter followers. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like, what's next? Is he gonna complain to Instagram because his thirst traps aren't blowing up?
Trump's biggest weakness isn't his policies or even his hair. It's his total inability to take a joke. Trevor Noah just exposed how the man who mocks everyone else can't handle being the butt of the joke himself. Watch how Noah perfectly mimics Trump's repetitive speech patterns while explaining why a leader who can't laugh at himself is actually dangerous for democracy. Ever notice how Trump skips the White House Correspondents Dinner? There's a reason, and it's not because he's busy. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click that subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Let's talk about how Trevor Noah absolutely nailed Trump's biggest weakness, the man's paper-thin ego.
A record number of people have left the White House, which even for Trump is pretty impressive, right? It's almost like he's leading the resistance by himself. Everyone out there is like, we gotta get these people out of office. And Trump is like, way ahead of you folks, resist! Trump didn't run on never releasing his taxes. In fact, if you remember, he specifically said,
I will release them as soon as the audit is done.
And of all of his tweets this weekend, our favorite was when he tweeted out, it's truly incredible that shows like Saturday Night Live, not funny / no talent, can spend all of their time knocking the same person, me, over and over.
Ever notice how Trump can mock everyone else but throws a full-blown tantrum when someone jokes about him? It's like watching a schoolyard bully who can dish it out but bursts into tears the second someone finally pushes back. Remember that time Trump mocked a disabled reporter by flailing his arms around? Or when he called women fat pigs and dogs? And let's not forget all those childish nicknames he dishes out. Sleepy Joe, Crooked Hillary, Little Marco. Trump loves being the one making fun of others. He's basically that mean kid in school who thinks it's hilarious until someone finally gives him a taste of his own medicine. But oh boy, when the joke's on him, watch out. Trevor played this clip of Trump at a rally saying, I can take a joke. I'm the best at taking jokes. Nobody takes jokes better than me. Then he immediately cut to a montage of Trump's legendary social media meltdowns. There was that 3 a.m. tweet storm after SNL roasted him where he ranted about the show being totally biased and demanded equal time. Then there was his Truth Social tirade, calling late night hosts talentless lowlifes because they joked about his criminal charges. Grumpy Trumpy just can't handle a little comedy. The funniest part is how different he is from other presidents who could actually laugh at themselves. Trevor showed a great clip of Obama at the White House Correspondents Dinner roasting himself about his gray hair and the birth certificate conspiracy. Even George W. Bush had that hilarious bit with his impersonator where they made fun of his mispronunciations. Heck, even Nixon, awkward as he was, muttered "sock it to me" and at least showed up. But Donnie Diapers? He became the first president in decades to skip the Correspondents' Dinner. Not once, not twice, but every single year of his presidency. Why? Because the orange-tinted tough guy is terrified of being the butt of jokes for just one night. Trevor nailed it when he said, Trump skipping the Correspondents' Dinner is like a swimmer avoiding water. It's the one thing all presidents have done, but he's too scared someone might joke that his tie is too long.
You know, now that I hear it again, we should have known that Trump was lying as soon as he said,
I don't think I have the authority to do that.
Since when has Trump ever questioned his own authority to do anything? Because you never hear this level of compassion from Trump about like Puerto Rico, yeah? When that happens, he's like, here's one paper towel, go long! But here, and when it's him, he's like,
the Mueller investigation was a terrible thing.
Classic relationship dilemma.
Yeah. Trump was like, Kim, if I'm gonna open my trade to you, then we need to make this official. Kim was like, official? Why we gotta put labels on this, baby?
Then Trevor launched into this killer impression of Trump's repetitive speech patterns. I'm smart, very smart, the smartest. Many people say it, very smart people, the best people. Noah explained that this kind of empty self-praise is exactly what you'd expect from someone deeply insecure, a man who can't even handle a joke. When you can't laugh at yourself, Trevor said, you surround yourself with yes men who never tell you when your ideas are bad. That's why no one in Trump's circle could say, maybe don't suggest injecting bleach during a pandemic without risking their job. And that's what makes this more than just comedy. It's serious. What does it say about a leader who can't handle a joke? Trevor laid it out. A man who flies into a rage because a comedian teased his hair is the same man with access to the nuclear codes. Think about that for a second. The most devastating moment came when Trevor showed a split screen. Trump mocking the looks of his critics next to Trump throwing fits whenever anyone mentions his strange orange complexion or his weight. He's got the emotional maturity of a toddler, but as Trevor warned, instead of tantrums in a grocery store, Trump's tantrums could start wars. What made Noah's takedown brilliant wasn't just the humor, it was the way he exposed Trump's inability to laugh at himself as something genuinely dangerous. Here's a man so consumed by ego that he can't separate criticism of his actions from attacks on his identity. Every joke becomes an emergency, every criticism a betrayal, and that's not just sad, it's scary for democracy. From thin-skinned narcissist to Saturday morning cartoon villain. That's the journey Noah took viewers on. He compared Trump not just to any villain, but specifically to those meddling kid nemesis from Scooby-Doo. You know the type, ridiculous disguises, over-the-top schemes, and that inevitable moment when the mask gets pulled off, even though everyone saw it coming. Noah pointed out that Trump has the exaggerated mannerisms, the theatrical threats, and the see-through schemes that somehow still fool half the country. It's like watching the same episode for the 100th time, yet millions still gasp at the reveal, and Trevor didn't need fancy editing tricks to make his point. He just let Trump's own words and actions do the heavy lifting. The brilliance of Noah's comparison is how perfectly it captured Trump's predictability. Just like every Scooby-Doo baddie who growls, I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those pesky kids. Trump follows the same playbook every time. Make an outrageous claim, double down, blame everyone else when it collapses, rinse and repeat. No writer's room could create a character more consistent. What really stood out was how Noah broke down Trump's formula. Deny, attack, play the victim. It's his political version of I would have gotten away with it too. Clip after clip proved the point. First, Trump denies doing something everyone saw. Then, he attacks whoever called him out. Finally, he whines about being the victim of some grand conspiracy. The audience howled, not just because it was funny, but because it was painfully true. And it didn't stop there. Noah showed how Trump's cartoon villain behavior extends into his personal life. He played a montage of awkward moments between Donald and Melania, zooming in on those times she seemed to pull her hand away during public appearances. Noah called them relationship red flags being waved on the international stage. It looked less like a presidential couple and more like a sitcom marriage. Two people who can't stand each other but stay together for...
So please, guys, let's stop with this whole fake Melania business, all right? Because it's not true. Although I will say this. If you do zoom in on that picture, there is something a little suspicious. And that is that they're holding hands. Now, the reason I've been thinking about Melania lately is because in the wake of Trump's recent immigration crackdown, I've started to notice something that's got me really concerned. Who is this person that they're firing? Like they're running out of people we know to fire. This is like Walking Dead Season 6. Oh no, they killed Derek.
For reasons nobody can quite figure out, Noah also took aim at Fox News for their magical ability to ignore these painfully obvious moments. While playing clips of Melania dodging Trump's hand, he mocked how Fox somehow misses these glaring red flags, yet spends hours dissecting every micro-expression between Democratic couples. It's selective blindness at its finest, the same way cartoon characters only notice what the plot requires them to see, and that's why the Scooby-Doo villain comparison hits so hard. It stripped Trump of the very thing he craves most, respect and fear. For decades, Trump has carefully built an image of himself as a brilliant businessman, a master negotiator, a political chess player always 10 moves ahead. But Noah's comparison reduced him to exactly the opposite, a bumbling, predictable fool whose schemes are obvious to everyone except his most loyal followers. It transformed Trump from Machiavellian mastermind into Old Man Jenkins in a monster mask, shaking his fist as the credits roll.
To me, my love.
understand. I'm crazy about you. Dancing, I adore. Let me sing.
The real genius of Noah's take is that once he points it out, you can't unsee it. Every time Trump launches into his predictable routine, which, let's be honest, is every time he speaks, viewers can't help but picture one of those Scooby-Doo villains. It's the comedy equivalent of adding cartoon sound effects to his speeches. And it's devastating because it sticks in your head. Suddenly, you start spotting the formula everywhere. What once looked like calculated political strategy now feels like a childish, repetitive script. The strongman image falls apart the moment you realize you're just watching a cartoon character stumble through the same tired playbook. If Trump is nothing more than a Scooby-Doo villain, then his threats and bluster lose the power to intimidate. But here's the darker punchline. This isn't just a cartoon, it's real life. Noah underscores that Trump's predictability may make him mockable, but it doesn't make him harmless. A cartoon villain who somehow convinced millions of real people to follow him isn't funny, it's dangerous. The schemes may be transparent, but they still work on enough of the population to cause real damage. And as the segment wrapped up, Trevor's parting shot about humor might have been his most important point. He reminded us that the ability to laugh at leaders without fear is what separates democratic societies from authoritarian ones. Think about it. If a president can't even handle a joke, how can they possibly handle real criticism? That's not just sad, it's terrifying. The freedom to mock our leaders isn't just entertainment, it's a safeguard against tyranny. And every time Trump lashes out at comedians, he proves exactly why we need them. In a healthy democracy, the most powerful person should be the most mockable, not the most vengeful.